You wake up tomorrow and there are no police, no courts, no functioning government. Mail stops, banks close. Who do you call? Who protects you? This isn't hypothetical. It's exactly what happened when Rome collapsed. And yet, society didn't simply end. Something held it together. People raised families, built churches, traded goods, settled disputes. But without the machinery of government, what kept everything from falling apart? First, let's clear up a common myth. Rome didn't vanish overnight. The Western Empire fragmented gradually over centuries. The Merovingian kingdoms that emerged inherited pieces of Rome, Christianity, Latin literacy, bishops, administrative traditions. Post-Roman means connected to Rome, not severed from it. Think of it as a company that went bankrupt, but whose employees kept working under new management, using the old systems they knew. Here's a useful modern parallel. Think of failed states today. Countries with official borders, flags, UN seats, but no effective internal control. The government exists on paper. On the ground, local powers, warlords, and informal networks actually run things. Medieval Europe from the 5th to 12th century operated in this space. Official structures existed. Real power flowed through different channels entirely. 3 pillars held medieval society together. First, kinship. Your family was your insurance policy, your army, your social security system. Harm one family member, you faced the entire clan. Second, religion. The church provided the only universal institution spanning all these fragmented territories. It offered moral framework, literacy, record keeping, and a shared identity across political boundaries. Third, private vengeance. Justice wasn't outsourced to the state. It was personal, familial, negotiated. Blood feuds weren't chaos. They were a system with rules about compensation, escalation, and settlement. Now, here's what makes this relevant to you. In stable societies, you don't carry weapons expecting robbery. You trust that mail arrives. You pay taxes assuming services will follow. You walk alone at night. You trust strangers in transactions. When you must consciously think about what binds society together, you're already in a different kind of polity. The fact that you never think about these things is itself a marker of privilege. Medieval people thought about social bonds constantly because they had to actively maintain what we take for granted. This reframes everything. Medieval society wasn't primitive, it was society without our particular privileges. The informal networks weren't signs of barbarism, they were sophisticated responses to circumstances. When we read about medieval violence or intense religious devotion, we're watching people actively building and defending social bonds that we inherit invisibly, and they did the work, so we enjoy the results. Why do humans form social ties at all? 2 fundamental reasons: company and protection. 19th century Romantic literature imagined noble savages living independently on South Sea islands, needing no one. Beautiful myth, terrible anthropology. Reality: isolation invites plunder. A person alone is a target. A person embedded in networks has allies who will avenge harm. Medieval people understood this viscerally. Every relationship was simultaneously emotional and strategic. Friendship meant someone who would fight for you. Consider what the church actually provided. In a world of fragmented political authority, it offered the only institution that crossed all borders. A bishop in Spain could write to a bishop in England in Latin, and both would understand. Church courts handled disputes, monasteries preserved knowledge, parish priests recorded births, deaths, marriages. The church wasn't just spiritual, it was the surviving administrative backbone of civilization. So what does this mean for how we read medieval history? When you encounter a blood feud, you're seeing a justice system. Like when you see intense religious devotion, you're seeing people maintaining their only universal institution. When you read about elaborate kinship obligations, you're seeing social security without a state. These weren't failures to achieve what we have. They were different solutions to the same problems. Medieval people weren't stupid or primitive. They were rational actors working with different tools than we possess. Think about your last week. How many times did you trust a stranger, a delivery driver with your address, a bank with your money, a traffic light that other drivers would obey? Each moment of unconscious trust represents a social tie you've never had to think about, right? The medieval world didn't have less social order than we do, right? They just had to work harder to see it, build it, and defend it. Every day, they consciously maintained what we unconsciously inherit. The question isn't whether they were civilized, it's whether we'd recognize our own civilization if we had to consciously maintain it the way they did.